Hey guys, it's Drew again. Well, the National is upon us and the hype is super crazy. And while I'm not going this year, I thought it'd be fun to do a year in review to show what I picked up from last year's National to this year's National. And honestly, I got a lot more than I remembered. So, you want to see exactly what I added to my PC? Well, let's check it out. Well, like I said, the National is going on again this week, and I'm super excited to watch videos like a lot of you guys to see what's out there. Where are the prices going? I mean, could I even afford anything if I was able to go? Who's going to be there? Who's not going to be there? All the fun stuff, and man, I just wish I could go. But you know what? I spent all my time and focus to go to Strongsville, and I couldn't be more pleased with the way it turned out. So for all you guys going to the National, have a blast. Make some memories, take some photos, and just pick up something great and share it with us because we all can't wait to see. But what I thought I'd do is I would show all my pickups I got from last year's National to this year, kind of a year in review. And I think I got a total of 13 cards I want to show you. Now, you understand, some people you're like, oh, that's not a whole lot. 13 is only 13. But for me, that's a huge amount. Remember, it was just 3 or 4 years ago. I picked up one card one year. And I just am very intentional in the way I pick up. And I did have to get rid of some stuff in order to make room for this, both financially as well as within my collection, because I'm really strict on trying to keep it to around 100 cards or so. However, I was able to add some cards to my player PC runs, which don't count towards the 100, and upgrade some of my other stuff. So here it is. I want to show these off. Now, these are kind of chronological, and there is a big chunk that'll be towards the end that I showed off of, and I've already shown these cards, but that's what I got in Strongsville. But it was part of this year, and it helps show it off. So the first one I want to show up, actually, I picked up just a couple of weeks after the National last year, and it was a gift. Now, I want to also say there are some cards I'm not going to show. I was gifted some cards from people, from friends within this community and other people, and I'm not showing all of those, but there are a few very special gifts because they're very specific, and I want to highlight those. So if you did give me a card, it doesn't mean I don't appreciate it if I didn't show it in the video, because I really do. Every one of the gifts that were given to me are on display within my room, but I did want to highlight a couple of them, and the first one is a gift. Now, I've told the story and you know about it, but as we all know, Jake from Legends Never Die, last year he got that huge collection from down in Alabama called the Virgil Collection. I went up, I spent a day sorting and going through, a lot of fun, a lot of work, and we didn't even scratch the surface. But as I was leaving, he gave me a very special card, and he knew why this was important to me. See, I was a huge Griffey collector back in the 90s, like so many other people. And within there was a whole bunch of Desert Shield cards, and he said, Drew, I want you to have this. So he gave me a 1991 Desert Shield Griffey, and you can see the stamp is up there. It's the all-star card. Honestly, I'm thrilled to have this. I never thought I would get any of them or either of them, and I'm just really thrilled. And of course, it just brings back great memories of going up, having an amazing day, looking at cards, digging through some stuff, being with some friends, and just one of the greatest memories I'll ever have within my card collecting. So there's the first one is from Jake. So thank you again, Jake. Now, the next one, I had a few big cards on my list of 3, if you know what I'm talking about, where I only have 3 cards I'm actively ever trying to find at once. And that way it sort of keeps it controlled. I can really study and focus on those cards. And I still have a list of 3 cards right now. Of course, that list has changed. But the big one a year ago was a huge card, and I really thought I was going to be saving and get it hopefully in Strongsville. But somebody notified me about one that they saw on a Facebook group, and I looked at it, and it was actually less than my budget. Had a couple of condition issues, but I was really okay with that. So this is a huge addition to my collection, and I actually show it off in every single video because it sits right back here on the shelf. So it normally sits right here, but it's not there because it's right here, and that is my 1949 Leaf Joe DiMaggio. I love this card. Again, never thought I would get it. I actually sold my Burke Ross Joe DiMaggio to help fund for some other stuff, but thrilled to get this card. Just absolutely delighted. And, I have a total of 4 cards from that Leaf set, and 3 of them are just the big boys. The other 2, if you don't know, one is over here is my Mutual, and the other one is right there, which is my Ted Williams, and normally right there is the Joe DiMaggio. So there's the DiMaggio. Thrilled to have that. That's card number 2 from National to National. So let's see what else we got. Okay, right after that, this was the unexpected thing. I actually had just secured, paid for, and I was actually waiting for the DiMaggio to come, and I was like, okay, now what do I want to do? I got to look on to see what else, and what else is going to add to the list of three. And I was just randomly on Google, just looking to see what cards am I missing from my Carl Erskine PC, trying to get every card, playing days card of Carl Erskine while he was a player. He doesn't have a ton of cards because he wasn't a superstar, a Hall of Famer or anything. But I was looking, and it just so happened that there was a card that's extremely scarce. In fact, it's the most scarcely graded card of any Carl Erskine card, and happened to be one at an auction that was ending 2 days later. And I hopped on, I registered for the thing, I put a bid, I didn't know if I would win it. The last public sale of one of these cards was in 2018, and this was in 2025, and I actually got it for less than a quarter of what I thought it was going to go for, and that is my Carl Erskine Briggs Meads. So thrilled to have this card. This is a huge, huge card for any collector or type collectors to get a Briggs Meads, but to be able to get one, there's only 7 of these cards that were ever graded, and this is the only one by CGC. So thrilled to have this. So happy to have it. Another card was something, and I haven't talked about this, and I'm not going to say too much about it because someday I want to do a video on this. So if you know what the card is or know who the player is, then you'd be like, I want to know what this video is about. But if you don't know, well, you're going to have to wait. I just had to find the right time to do the research to tell the story the way it is. But I got my very first 1939 play ball card, and that is this card. And I'm not going to tell you who it is. It's just a common. I think it was 15 bucks on eBay, but it's a big card in my collection. It actually has a very important part of my personal collection and the way I collect. This card does. So stay tuned for that story. If I get enough interest in bugging me about it, maybe I'll do that video at some point. So that's the next one. Another card that came up was I had done a live stream, or I'm sorry, a video about my Carl Erskine collection with Dan from Dan's Vintage PC, and someone watching said, you know what, you don't have one of these. So as a gift, he sent me this, and I was able to get my very first one of these cards, and I'm just thrilled to have it. And of course, you can see it's autographed here on the bottom, and so I appreciate that. The watcher's name is Tony. So Tony, thank you again. I actually got to meet him in Strongsville a few months later, so thank you for getting my first Red Man card, actually of any card, and so I was happy to get that. So thank you again. Okay, now there was a big jump. I mean, this was all last fall, and then we jumped. Now, part of that jump of not picking anything up was because I was in savings mode. I was in strategy mode. What am I going to go for? So the next cards I picked up, in fact, the chunk of it, of what I have left, were all, I'm going to call Strongsville purchases. Now, the first one, I actually had made an arrangement ahead of time with Sammy Thunder. He had shown that he was selling some stuff to help raise some funds for Strongsville. He had a card that was on my list of 3. So happy to get it, but I was able to pick up my 1954 Dan D Gil Hodges card. And so great to get this card. He gave me a super great deal on this card, and I picked it up in Strongsville even though I had previously made the arrangement. So my only Dan D card, the Gil Hodges, and just love this image, love this card. And if you don't know, Dan D was potato chip brand. These were in potato chips. There's sort of a waxy coating on the card and to protect it from the grease, but I love it. I just love the card, and so happy to add this to my collection. So there you go. There's my Gil Hodges from that card. And then the next card I picked up was actually in Strongsville. I couldn't find what I was looking for. I was going for hopefully a really big boy card, for me at least, and it just wasn't meant to be. So I was walking around. I wasn't pouting or sulking, but I wanted to find something, and I was like, I don't know, and I just happened to see this. Now, this is a type card for my PC for Pee Wee Reese, and I was happy to get this. It's in really bad shape, and I really don't care. But this is the stickers card, all-star stickers, whatever they're called, and decals, all-star decals, I'm sorry. And this is the joint one. He's got 2 different versions. This one, which is him and Gil Hodges together, and then there's a larger version that's this size, same image of Pee Wee Reese. But as you can see, it's pretty beat up. There's writing on the back. I absolutely am thrilled to have this, and I know they present well when they're still sealed with the red border, but this was like 20 bucks, and this sort of broke me out of trying to find something at Strongsville, so I was happy to get this one. And then some other cards, and this is not necessarily in order of when I got them, but I've shown this card before. Absolutely a favorite, and a fan favorite too, but this is 33 Gaudy Paul Richards. This was a gift from a new friend of mine named John. So once again, I've thanked him many a times, but John, thank you again for this. what a great card with a lot of meaning to me. So happy to have that one, the Paul Richards from 1933. And I also wanted to get a Diamond Stars card, and I just wanted an example of a card that just had that really cool look to it, that they're known for with that whole motif. And this, I was trying to actually avoid this card for a few reasons, but I came across, it was actually the very last thing I did in Strongsville at the trade night, and got it from B. Roth, from Brian, and he gave me a great deal on it. So thrilled to add the Diamond Stars Wally Burger. Love this card. Look at the red, the Braves logo, so good. So thank you, Brian, for a great addition, and to get to my type card for Diamond Stars. This was one of the cards I was looking for in Strongsville. Got a great deal on it as well. And I was able to pick up my American Caramel Sam Rice. Another great card, a great image of them. I kind of like the black and white photographs when they're in action from this era. When you compare it to strip cards, I'm not a super big fan of most strip cards. Not all of them, but most of them I'm not a huge fan. But I really like the alternative that came out in the early 20s with like the American Caramel, as well as a few others. So there's my Sam Rice, and I got to do a video on Sam Rice too. So this is helping remind me of videos I need to make. And then, of course, one of my big cards that I got in Strongsville was I really wanted to get a Playing Days Walter Johnson, and I was able to pick up this, and I love this set. I mean, it's a great set, the Hassan triple folder, and it's just a great image of Walter Johnson over there. I'm going to say, but I don't know what yet or when, but I don't think this will be my last Walter Johnson Playing Days card, but this is definitely just a favorite. I love this card. So glad to have it. I think I got a pretty good deal on it. And then this card I showed briefly in my recap, but it's kind of interesting. So it's a non-baseball card, but there's a great story to it, and I really need to do a video on this as well. But I picked this up from Mookie Chilson, and this is actually from, I believe, 1888, and it's actually the Honest Long Cut Tobacco, and it's an actress. I've got to do a video and remind him. Now, why is this interesting? Why is this such a good video, or why is this such a good card? Why would I want this in my baseball PC? Well, there's a story behind it, and you know what? If you don't know the story, bug me in the comments. I will show this. This is absolutely deserves its own video. If you do know it, then it's worth repeating. So, but this was a huge pickup for me because it got such a great story behind this card, specifically why I wanted this card. So, remind me in the video, in the comments, and I will make a video on that one. I did pick up a few smaller PC cards for my Pee Wee Reese collection, and I got the, let's start with the 49 Eureka stamps. This was actually not a card I was really hoping to get. I'm really not a fan of the card, but I got such a good price on it. In fact, I got two cards from the same dealer in the same in the same transaction, and also got the golden stamps for 1955, and he gave me a price. Basically, I paid about $10 less of sticker for this, and this one he threw in for free. So, it was a good price, and I needed both of them to fill out. So, and then of course the huge card, the big card, which I show, and I've shown many a time, but I did want to get an epic card. I wasn't able to get the Jackie Robinson, but I was able to get a rookie card, and really thrilled to have this one. So I did pick up the 1949 Bowman Satchel Paige rookie card. I've shown this many a time. I will continue to show it, because why wouldn't I show off a card that's so great? But absolute classic card within our hobby, and a great example of it. So, and then the final card I picked up, and just picked it up fairly recently, within the last month, or say, I think 2 months maybe. And I was happy to get this. This is now the oldest baseball card in my collection. This is from 1882, and this is the H804 Series 11, and this is a great card. I did a video on this that nobody watched. It got terrible views, so go back if you want to learn more about it and why it's kind of cool. But it's got the Peck and Snyder advertisement on the back, but I picked this one up recently. So that's kind of the overview of what I got from National to National, except not all of them. But you know what? I'm not going to show you the last. I actually recently picked up 3 different cards. I haven't revealed any of them. All three of them are super special. All three of them deserve a video. So all three of them are going to wait. So you're going to have to wait and see coming up in the next few weeks, once the national buzz kind of dies down. I want to show you what I picked up, why they're important to my collection. Thrilled to have them, and I will share those with you. So this is what I got. I don't know. I think I had a great year. I mean, really, if I could duplicate this size of a year, I don't know if I will be able to, especially with that Satchel Paige. That was a pricey card, but I'm thrilled to have it. So I'm really excited to see what happens for myself in this next year, but I'm really thrilled to see anybody going to the National. What are you going to pick up? What are your memories? What are you going to, what are we going to talk about in the future when you and I are texting or calling or through videos and comments? I want to know your experience at the National, of what you're going to do coming up in this next week, and we're going to hear about it for a while. So I can't wait to find out exactly what happens for all those going. For all you going, have a blast, have a good time, and for those who are not, we'll all sit here and just wait for the next video to drop. But until next time, you guys be good.